Welcome to another edition of What's Out There. I'm your host, Robinson Edward Daring. Join us as we bring you new ideas, new truths, and news you can use. In this episode, we talk ebooks, the paranormal, and online publishing with best-selling authors C.J. Ellison and Danielle Gavan. And now, the show. All right, thank you, folks, for joining us. And it's going to be a very exciting show today. First of all, I am on location, so I am not actually in the studio. I am actually on location today. And I had the privilege of talking to a couple of extremely lovely and intelligent and talented women, C.J. Ellison and Danielle Gavan. Now, C.J. is the best-selling author of contemporary fantasy and erotica with such books as The Vampire Vacation, The Hunt, and the upcoming Big Game. Danielle is the best-selling author of urban fantasy and erotic romance, including the Abbey of Angels series. Ladies, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to be here.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem.
Me as well. Thanks for having me on.
And actually, when I said that, actually that goes especially for CJ, because I understand, C, that you were interviewed this morning in a live radio show. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. It was really exciting.
And I believe that it was in Ontario. That's Canada, right? Not California.
Yes, Ontario, Canada. It was in a station in Brockville. Bruce Wiley was the on-air personality who interviewed me. He was a terrific man. He really did a great job with it. Made me feel very at ease, similar to how you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm improving. After 30 years, I hope so. Now, did I hear some news a while ago that you will be talking to Penthouse and Playboy?
Yeah, my publicist is doing a really good job. They've got me some really terrific interviews lined up. First one that was supposed to be scheduled in this month, Playboy Radio with the Tiffany Grant show, got moved to next month. So I don't have an exact date on that one yet. And I don't have an interview coming up with Penthouse, but the managing editor, Christine Colby, requested both copies of the first two, a copy of the first two books to review. So hopefully that'll make it into some Penthouse magazine, maybe a book review about it, who knows. And I've got a couple other reviews lined up. One is with a radio station in Hollywood, and I think one more that's doing a long half-hour segment in another station in Canada. So it's exciting. It's coming together.
Wow. It'll be interesting. I might actually have to look at Penthouse for the articles this time.
Right, you'll have to be able to say that for the first time.
What about you, Danielle? Are you got any big things lined up?
Nothing huge the way CJ does. Right now I'm just waiting on the final edits for Cassiella, and that'll be out hopefully early May.
Right. Kind of the funny thing is, when I was doing my research now, around this time about 3 years ago, you weren't even remotely thinking of writing. So what kind of got you into the writing game, CJ?
Yeah, that is an interesting story. It was January 2009. I went to a book club meeting with some friends and found out that two of them were writing a book. And I thought, what the hey, why can't I try writing a book? I was out of work at the time. I had to leave my job due to some health concerns and thought it was a good idea. My girlfriend drove me home and gave me a pep talk that, yes, it was worthy and I should do it. And she was an editor and wanted to see the ideas right away. I started writing within about a week or two, and she loved it, and the rest is history. I just couldn't believe it that it was actually coming together. I'd never written before. I have no background, no training. I was chemistry and business major in college. Don't know much about writing, except that I've been a reader my whole life.
And why vampires?
I really enjoy reading about vampires. I think the mysticism that's involved with the genre is incredible. You can go from as dark as Anne Rice to as lighthearted as Marie Janice Davidson. It can be something really fun or it can be something really serious. It seems like no matter what you want to make your fantastical creature do, there is some book out there that is something similar, whether it's going to be horror or it's going to be comedy or it's going to be erotica. And I don't think you can really find that with another mythical creature as much as you can when you write about vampires.
It's funny you said that about the fantastic creatures. Danielle, you read about succubi in your book Unwrapped, and I believe in your book Adieu, you talk about necromancers. How did you get into those topics?
Well, for Arjir, for example, she actually came about. She was a character that I had developed for a role-playing board that I was part of. And around, I think it was September of 2009, someone approached me about writing an article for a contest that Air Canada, they have a magazine called Ensuite. And I thought, well, I've always written stories. This is maybe something that I can do. And it just kind of rolled from there. She was a very spunky character that I really, really liked, so I took her idea and went with it. And Arjir was born from there. As far as the succubi go, that idea just kind of came to me for something that I wanted to do for everything erotic. And it just evolved into a book. I took the idea for Unwrapped is basically that the main characters in the story, because they are given as birthday gifts, or they are the birthday gift. And it's a cute little fun story.
Hey, okay, you mentioned everything erotic now, and that's my next point. What is up with all the erotica? You know, it seems like, what is it, bored suburbanites trying to bring the romance back? You know, kind of guys writing about this,
I probably wasn't supposed to laugh yet. Oh, Greg, you poor thing. You really have no idea, do you? Erotica and erotic romance has been around a very, very long time. If you really want to give credit to the e-book craze and how e-readers have become popular, you have to go back and look at what started it all, which is romance books. And the steamier, the better. That's exactly how e-readers came into being. We talked to some diehard romance fans who've been reading for a decade on their very first e-readers that are falling apart, and they don't have the money to buy a new one. They really have been the forefront runners on really breaking the technology open. But, you know, we could also say the same thing about internet porn and the technology that has spurned internet porn into the, you know, the recesses of super technology that it has. But as far as erotica and erotic romance, it's always been there. It's always been big. Women have wanted to read it for years and decades. What really has changed is the fact that more and more people are writing it with the availability of getting it out there through the modern channels that we have with e-publishing. Whereas prior to that, you had to go and find it through a bookstore and hope to God you weren't embarrassed when you got to the register to pay for it. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe that's just me talking.
Sorry, I think also with the advent of e-readers, that's afforded people a bit of privacy. So they have less, like CJ was saying, there's less guilt or less embarrassment about reading them because an e-reader is more private. Someone literally has to get close to you or look over your shoulder in order to see what you're reading. But with an e-reader, there's no steamy covers, there's no naked men or half-dressed women. There's less of that.
You don't have to, you don't have to have this stuff arrive in a plain brown, paper wrapper. I mean, I like my neighbor used to get,
Right.
Yeah, sure, your neighbor, yeah.
I don't know. You both have families, so are you guys going to try to compensate for the erotica with maybe some young adult or children's books?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily about compensating. You know, when you're writing for a living, you write what sells. I really enjoy writing erotica. It's a lot of fun. I was actually shocked it sold so well, and it just kind of fueled the passion of, why not write it? It's selling terrific. I do plan on writing other stuff. I write nonfiction, and I have a middle grade book for 9 to 12-year-olds that I've started and plotted out and done a little bit of work on. And I'm also working with an artist on a children's book that'll be for ages 4 to 7. So, yes, I don't just write smut.
Same here. I'm looking at possibly branching out into something more darker.
Oh, wow. Okay. That will be very interesting. Okay. Now, really real quick before we head into break, and actually you're coming up on the first break, but I'm going to ask you how you balance it. Now, you say CJ, you're going to do young adult or certain age groups for children's books down there, but I'm going to ask you after the break what, maybe your family or friends think about it. Folks, we are coming up on our first commercial break, and we are talking with best-selling authors CJ Ellison and Danielle Gavan, and we will be right back after our commercial break.